Fig is Figma. They went IPO on July 31st. I do not like investing in IPOs because most of the time they tend to have, it's like throwing a giant party. You spend, I don't know. Let's pretend we're billionaires. You spend $200,000 on a party, and 24 hours later, the party's over. You just got a bunch of trash on the floor and a bunch of empty drink cups and a lot of hungover people. And IPOs tend to have a short-term, like, wow, excitement, and then a big sell-off. And Fig is beginning to form that type of chart. And you can look at some really good quality companies and you would see this. You would see this in, like, Robinhood's been my number one performer for the past year. It had a really well followed IPO. Stock just jumped up and then it came down hard. So Figma is kind of following. It's very, very early, but we're seeing that, hey, it's selling off a little bit. What does Figma do? Let's take a peek at what the Figma business is about. I want to keep that open because I'm going to analyze it after the stream. And Figma develops a software platform where people go in and design and develop. It's kind of a collaboration tool where people can go in, they can, let's say you're doing a software rollout, you're developing a new website, and you would have your marketing team involved, you have your technology team involved, you might even have the finance team involved, and you have outside consultants involved. They would work in this platform and then create something. It could be a website. It could be, hey, let's talk about our branding for 2026, and the marketing team gets on here and they start collaborating. I think it's a decent idea. It's not an idea that's making my head explode because I think the addressable market is there, but it's not like totally ubiquitous like Meta. Like Meta, who can use Meta? Everybody. Everybody can use Meta. It's not like, hey, I don't like complex user screens. Okay, well, use WhatsApp. It's super simple. It's like text messaging. You can use Instagram, which is all very picture oriented. You can use Facebook, which is a little busy, but people have gotten used to it. Figma has a limited market, which is going to be for companies addressing the need when they're creating together as a team, or they're creating with maybe a customer. Like, hey, a customer comes on and it's a business that builds solutions for that customer or a product, and they want that customer to come into the product creation process. That way there's consensus and agreement from the customer that, yeah, that's the service, that's a product that I want. So I get what their business does. It's a software company. I like software companies because they establish software as a service revenues. These are reoccurring revenues that come back every single year. They tend to be really sticky. So I like that. The market cap's $43 billion, $820 million of revenue. So you're paying 50, call it 50 times revenue. That's expensive. Forward P is 422, expensive. Do they have competition in the space? They do. They have companies that have been doing this for some time. Now, are the companies that do this as good as Figma? Maybe, maybe not. And that's going to be determined over the next couple of years to see how much market share Figma creates. But the space, software companies already provide this. These guys are just trying to be specialist in this particular space of software and provide a better experience for customers. Now, as we look at their quarterly revenue, not much there, but they are growing nicely. Okay, so not a lot of data because they just IPO'd. This is the company that Adobe wanted to buy, and the previous administration was anti-mergers, so they No, actually, Europe. Europe told Adobe you can't do it. So Adobe had to pay $1 billion to Figma for the cancellation of that acquisition. That was a big check they had to write. Um, they probably use stable coins to pay it. Anyway, moving on. So free cash flow, they are free cash flow positive. That looks really good. Their margins are terrific, 88%. Okay. And that looks good. Now, their growth rate is 50%. They're a small company. So that's kind of, it's, I don't want to be pessimistic, but they're a small company. Yeah, they're going to grow fast, but once they get to like 2 billion, it's going to be harder for them to grow at those numbers. I would value this business at like probably 10 to 20 billion is what I would put out there. Let's take a look at their balance sheet. Balance sheet has, wow, they don't have much debt. They have 1.5 billion of cash, almost no debt. So they have plenty of cash to continue to build the business, but these guys are priced probably at least 50% too high. And I say that by really knowing the space. I know software quite well. And these companies tend to have a good 2-year window, maybe 3 years, where they grow into a space, they create some excitement, then they hit a wall. And some things that push back are customers don't want to run software from 50 different businesses. Like, oh, we got Salesforce for this. Oh, we got this for that. We got Microsoft for this other thing, because employees would have to be like, hey, I have to log into, they do single sign-on, but my user experience on Salesforce is a little different than the one on Microsoft, and it's a little different than Figma, and it's a little different than our accounting system. Pretty soon it's like, geez, 25 different user experiences to do one job. Instead, they're willing to give up functionality to have a unified user experience. Hey, you know what? My ERP system does what Figma does. It doesn't do it as well, but at least you keep that unified user experience for employees. So that's going to be one big picture kind of threat to Figma. For me, it's not an investment that I want to make. It's too close to their IPO date. I don't like buying IPOs. I like the stock to settle down, and then I can look at fundamentals after they've announced a few times. And I have more data, and I see how they're actually performing within their industry space. So that's my review of Figma. What are the charts showing you there, Daryl?
There's not a lot of data to look at because they've only been IPO'd for a week or so. So I'm going to use even a different chart. This is an hourly intraday chart using 5-day and this is 5-hour and 13-hour moving averages. So it's sitting right at the 5-hour moving average, trading above the 13-hour. So here it was definitely in a decline, trading below the 13 and 5-hour charts. So it's looking a little better now. This is a plugin that I purchased called the No-Go charts. It's giving it a go at the moment. The TTM squeeze is also showing an improvement here. When this goes to light colored bars for 2 bars, then it's starting to weaken. So anyway, there's not a lot of data to look at, but
yeah,
looking good for the next maybe day or two. That's about as far out as you can look with this.
Yeah. Yep. So that's Figma.